Good evening and welcome to the August 10th Town of Proctor Select Board meeting. If you'd all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion would be in order to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. A motion would be in order to approve the July 27th, 2026 Select Board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Open public comments.
So tomorrow's primary voting day, so the town offices will be closed. Cecilia Mallory will be over at the school. And this Saturday is the last day the pool will be open in town. And there's a concert next Wednesday also.
What is that, the 16th?
19th.
The 19th? Okay. All right, everybody had an opportunity to sign the orders.
Yes.
And so we'll move into the Stormwater Master Plan discussion with Rutland Natural Resources Conservation District. So if you both would just like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. Katie Stiles, District Manager of Rutland Natural Resources Conservation District.
And I'm Andie, Vellenga. I am the Project Specialist in Conservation Plan.
Okay.
So, I want to try and keep this brief for you guys. Start off with a little bit of context though. Are you familiar with the Conservation District? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah? So we do conservation projects with towns, eastern half of Rutland County, part of Otter Creek watershed. We do everything from working with farmers to access grants, to do best management practices on their properties. And we work with towns doing culvert replacements, dam removals, all sorts of things in the name of clean water quality, conservation for natural resources, etc. So that brings us to the Stormwater Master Plan. This was done between 2022 and 2024. At the time, Nancy McGuire was the district manager for Rutland NRCD. Nancy retired about almost 2 years ago. Was everyone here around when the Stormwater Master Plan process was going on?
Somewhere.
Some? Okay. I'm gonna send Judy, right? I'm gonna send Judy a digital copy of the Stormwater Master Plan. I also have the 27-page printout copy. If anyone is so tempted right now, I'm happy to share that out. Anybody want a paper copy to look at? I'll leave a few behind in case you want to check it out later. So the Stormwater Master Plan was done in order to identify opportunities to manage stormwater in a way that would reduce the amount of pollutants that are entering into our watershed. This is done by looking at traditional gray stormwater areas where traditionally we've got water precipitation, we've got snow melt, we've got whatever we've got coming down from the sky is getting washed off roofs, down streets, into our storm drains, and that just gets pumped out, funneled down to our waterways. And green stormwater infrastructure changes the way that gray stormwater is managed by filtering out that water before it enters our waterways. And different methods of doing this can be small, working with landowners to put rain barrels, collecting their roof runoff, to doing little rain gardens in the swales on their property, to putting in gravel wetlands, underground infiltration systems to make that water cleaner for the resources within Proctor, for the drinking water at large, for the state's population. There were 35 projects initially identified by the consultant that was hired to do this work. that was winnowed down to 10, and then working with the Selectboard and doing some feasibility outreach to landowners. There were 4 projects that were identified as those top projects. And that is why we're here before you, because our board said, hey, remember that stormwater master plan that we did a few years ago? And I said, no, that was before my time. And they said, well, read it and reach out to the town and see if they are interested in working on any of those plans. Now, the rumor that I was told was that there were some concerns about these projects and the O&M agreement, so operations and maintenance agreements. And the good news that I have about that is that that doesn't just necessarily fall on the landowner, or in this case, the town, for those 4 projects. Andie's gonna briefly talk about those 4 projects to jog your memories in a minute, but I wanted to address the O&M question, that these projects would be done with grant money. The district is willing to manage these projects, and once complete, there are a few different options for O&M. Either the landowner can take it on themselves, there can be an access agreement, so that you're allowing the district to come by, check on what's going on, say, is this done the way we expect it to get done? Or something in between. And if maintenance needs to be done, there's actually funds set aside within that main funding source to do O&M over the 10 years of that agreement. So if we put in a infiltration system and your one of your roads guys comes by, checks on it once a year to see if it's blocked up with leaves and things, and he goes, man, there's a bunch of leaves in there, this isn't doing anything. You give us a call, we reach out to our funder and we say, hey, we need to do some maintenance on this that's a little bit out of the purview of the town, we need to hire someone to do it, and we can access those funds and get that done. Okay? Make sense?
So before we go forward, I just want to be really clear on this timeline.
Yeah.
You started this in 2022.
Yep.
There are the project, so where are we on the timeline here?
So
What number are we on as we
I'm not-
sat here today?
I'm not sure what timeline you're looking at. I think this is one that Judy found from records.
It says deliverables and the
Jeez, wanna see
outcomes.
this?
So we're all done.
This
The
is
Stormwater Master
completed.
Plan exists. This is it. We have, you absolutely can.
Okay, so what you're gonna talk to us about, then we don't have a copy of.
Yeah,
You
that's all, this is all that I could find in our files.
do not
Okay.
understand.
Is this the rain garden people?
Yes.
It was part, yes, part of that was,
Part of our decision making.
Yeah, okay.
So, let's see, I think the timeline you're looking at ends on page 25. And that was completed in 2024. So right now we're looking at the final projects.
So where are what page are the projects that we're talking
The
about?
projects begin on page 18. And page 18, we've got Proctor Elementary School, Proctor High School, and then on page 19, we have Proctor Free Library. And on page 20, we have Riverside Cemetery Swale. And just so you guys don't feel left out, you can look at paper 2, pretend you're listening to me. Here you go.
Okay, and they picked these projects.
they were, yeah, they were the 4 that were finalized from all, the 10, the original 10.
By you.
Not me personally, but by our organization.
Okay. But not by the town.
Sorry, can you repeat your question so I can make sure I'm answering correctly?
So the 4 projects we're talking about were,
Projects that were identified as the priorities were chosen between from my understanding and the notes that we have, they were chosen in a meeting between some representatives of the town and the contractors that put this together and my predecessor, Nancy McGuire.
okay.
That doesn't mean that we can't address any of the other 10 menu options we have. It simply means that those were the 4 at the time that felt the most feasible to move through on, to follow through on, and then were designed to 30%. So we've got preliminary designs in existence.
I guess it's just a little odd as we sat here tonight to talk about 3 properties that this board has 0 authority over. So I'm not even sure what our input would be. only one project is town property,
And which one would that be?
the cemetery.
The cemetery. Gotcha. We were under the impression that if anything was gonna happen on any of the school properties, the place to start would be with the town. If that's incorrect, then we can go to the schools to talk to them. But with the notes that we had worked off of, they were all listed as town-owned properties, so that's why we're here. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was just on the board for the last, I think, 7, 8 months of that project, but you mentioned, and that was a key word, the projects that were feasible. But what the board wanted to see is the projects that are practical and going to have an impact, and there was just no cohesion between the two, the practical versus, the feasible.
What was
so,
the definitions of practicality that?
that would have an impact on filtering the water before it went into Otter Creek. Well, I can only speak for myself, not for the other board members. What I thought would be, practical to do that filtering, it's not like putting a stone rain garden in the cemetery where there's no pavement. It's all, sod. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, the definitions of what is impervious surface and what isn't and where opportunities are don't necessarily translate as well in narrative form, for sure. Is there any interest in any of the projects being discussed? Andie's happy to give a brief overview on any of them. And if the town has any pointers on who we ought to reach out to on any of the other projects.
I would like to read the final report.
Yeah, I think it's a little, we should have had these to read over before you come and tell us about the project, because,
Well, I'm not gonna blame them, that would be my fault but I just couldn't find it anywhere in the past records. This was the only thing I could find in an electronic file.
okay. Well, I guess I also think it's also odd that 3 of the 4 properties are not town properties and that they weren't sent to those entities.
I think it was discussed, I think we talked with the schools, if I remember correctly.
That
Did we
the
reach
select
out to them?
board talked to the schools?
I don't remember speaking to anybody, no.
No, I was on the board then.
Right,
So-
I hosted you at the
Right,
library.
right.
But I don't recall any of this coming out of that presentation.
I don't know if we
I
had
recall the
communications.
presentation.
Right, but I don't know if
very
we
different.
had communications with the school that this was part of our plan, and if they, I wouldn't know. I'd have to look back on emails.
Yeah,
back
I
then.
have no idea either. I don't, it's up to the board if you want to hear the presentation.
I do remember there was, go ahead, sorry.
Our feelings will not be hurt if you don't want to. Don't worry.
Well, I'm just, it's after the fact, it seems right. I'm just questioning what it's all about. Why are we doing such a thing before I even read it?
There is an effort by the state and a lot of funding going in to clean up the water quality in Vermont. Anything going into Lake Champlain. I don't know if you've been out on a boat or been down to any of the docks on Lake Champlain, but it isn't necessarily the clearest water that we have, and that's drinking water for quite a number of people. So there's a huge effort by Vermont, funded not only by federal sources, because this is an EPA action that led to Vermont having to invest a lot of funding, and state funding going in to clean up the water that's entering Lake Champlain, and because Otter Creek drains into Lake Champlain, and all of the water in this town, if it doesn't go somewhere else, getting taken up and transported, it's eventually either evaporating or going down to Lake Champlain via Otter Creek. That is why there has been a large push to clean up any of the stormwater and filtrate it before it gets to Lake Champlain.
And these sites, project sites have been, water's been tested and determined to be on a upper level of...
It's done from a slightly different angle from that. It's not point sourcing, like it's not testing like, oh, this water is particularly worse than this water. It's looking at where is water gathering from impervious surfaces, and impervious surfaces is not just pavement. There's a number of different ways to define that. For example, Rutland Fairgrounds, even though it's mostly sod because of the compaction there, that's considered largely an impervious surface, runs a lot of water. A lot of water runs off of those land areas and then goes down storm drains. And the thought is to intercept that water before it just goes down storm drains and into Otter Creek, in order to capture some of the pollutants, not just anthropogenic, but also just natural phosphorus and other nutrients that exist within our soil.
Gotcha, all right, thank you.
Does that answer your question, or only kind of?
It does, and I didn't look at, say Proctor, we're looking at projects like this to be a huge, problem in a pollutant side of things, only because it's, so small. There's not much really for industry in this town that's discharging, and so you look at discharge points, but if you're looking at stormwater drains next to parking lots, you're looking at coming off us, the hillside from, somewhere. If that's what I was talking about, testing, there's certain points that you're testing this water to determine where it's worse than others, or do you just go let it all come down into one leg and then...
They do topographical surveys to say, okay, like where does water move on this landscape, and then where could we intercept this water, and then from there they run with project feasibility. And every town has approached this significantly differently. This town, I'm reading through this master plan, it is largely just green stormwater infrastructure projects. There are some other towns that include a lot of roads projects as well, and it becomes a little bit of a two birds, one stone, where you're not just addressing water quality, but you're also addressing flood resilience and infrastructure and everything you can do to keep water from washing down your roads and washing out helps. And so retaining that water in gravel wetlands and in infiltration basins and some of the larger green stormwater infrastructure does still address that flood resilience and infrastructure management piece, but not necessarily as much as some towns stormwater master plans does.
Thanks.
And we are happy to reach out to the school first on their project, on the projects that are listed as on school grounds. I'm sorry if we have wasted your time talking to you about properties that have nothing to do with town.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that there's much point. I mean, the schools are owned by Quarry Valley owns the schools. I don't know of any schools, most in the state now, that are owned by municipalities. I think that's a thing of the past. So the presentation really doesn't have any validity for us because we wouldn't be able to make a decision. The same with the library. This board has no authority over that either. So the only project that I guess there'd be any interest with.
Riverside Cemetery.
Yeah.
And it's the one that doesn't sound like it has a lot of traction.
No, it doesn't. That's why I'm kind of interested to read the report, because in the outline it talks about deliverables, and I don't remember reading very much on Riverside.
I'm wondering if that timeline you guys are looking at was more of a document that was meant for the project manager than the select board.
It could have been, I don't know, it was started in 2022.
But regardless, I'm happy to end it here. And if you guys have any interest in looking for projects that might meet your interest, you're welcome to look through the final report, and if any of the other projects catch your eye, Judy can put you in contact with us if there's anything that you think would be helpful for the town to implement.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best route at this point, to give everybody an opportunity to read this. And then after reading it, if there is some traction with Riverside, or if there's something else from the DPW and town manager about stormwater, then they could reach out and invite you back.
Absolutely.
And I think, I'm just gonna say, because I think as far as, like, yeah, we don't own the schools, but they are in our town.
Sure.
And I think what we looked at is parcels that basically could impact anything. So it wasn't like you said, they don't test the water, they look at potential where the most harm could be from properties that have runoffs close to the Otter Creek, close to the rivers and stuff like that, which Riverside was one of them. But I think it was, I mean, even though these businesses, we don't own them, but I would think we'd want to reach out if they had a major issue that there was water runoff going into, you know, the Otter Creek. So I think it's just basically, yeah, we don't have say in what the school does, but if they're willing, I would think they would be, to at least talk to us and say, hey, could you create a, you know, a rain garden, you know, to help kind of impact. And I think that's, if I remember correctly, that was part of the talks in the process back when we started.
Then I would suggest maybe sending the report to the administrators or the superintendent to give them an opportunity also to read through it. I mean, I guess I'm just thinking where the high school lies with relationship to where business lies that has a pretty significant impervious service next to Otter Creek, that it doesn't really mesh for me.
Right. Well, I mean, this is a whole new, you've got a different board here too, you know, the people that were the players then aren't the players now. So they may have all agreed on this, which
Sure.
obviously they did, back then.
I have no idea. I wasn't-
Then, and now they're not, or now they have questions. So I think it's, over time, that's what's happened, is some people knew about it, some don't,
And some
some
things
don't
are
agree.
recorded as town land that turn out not to be town land after all.
Yeah.
And that's just fun.
Well, I'm not, I mean, did the board receive this?
I don't remember, I honestly don't. Not that, the board, when I was on the
Okay.
board, I don't.
So I don't know that that the attitude of the board is necessarily changed if they didn't have the factual or the proposed final report.
No, but they knew it. Report or no report, they knew it. They knew the properties that were picked. So
Okay,
they didn't have a report in front of them, but those, they identified with them the 5 properties to look at.
okay.
So I don't know if nobody remembers that, but
I wasn't
I can
on the
remember, I
board.
think it was just 3 or 4 sheets. I can probably produce it. I think I may have kept that one because I was
Right.
dumbfounded by,
right.
you know, the project selected, but
Yeah, okay. So I think that's the best thing, that everyone will have an opportunity to read through. I would suggest perhaps sending the report to the administrators at each building, and they can forward it on to where they think it is appropriate.
Happy to do so. Thank you so much, guys,
All right.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You guys have a good night.
You too. All right, resolution on water, snow, and ice clearing operations. So everyone received copies?
So I gave you a copy, and the one that was on the table when you came in is the newer copy. So that's the one you should be looking at. It's got blue lettering in it.
Okay, got it. Okay. Can we just maybe start right at the beginning?
Well, I didn't know if any of you had changes.
Yeah, I do. But I was gonna allow people.
Okay, yeah. That's what I meant, all of you.
Yeah. In reading through several other policies, I think that the first part where it says "be it resolved" is unnecessary for the policy, and actually the part at the top should really, policies, be at the bottom. But I would take out that first sentence in 1, 2, and 3. And I'll just go through what my suggestions are. Also in the general, under resources, or under responsibilities, I think is where I put it, I would put, add a paragraph underneath there that said the highway department's objective is to keep the roads as safe as possible during the busiest traffic commute, which extends from, and I said 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Therefore, from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., there's a possibility that staff or trucks are not out on the road unless called for an emergency. And that the town of Proctor, and I read this, and this I took from other policies, I read in multiple policies, does not have a clear road policy. As a result, there will be times when roads will not be clear of snow and ice. And I read that in about 4 other policies.
Where are you at?
Right here where it says Article 1, General,
Yeah,
I would suggest adding that under responsibilities, that paragraph that I just read. And then I thought in looking at the document that, on B, underneath, I guess it's operations and procedures, we didn't receive an addendum, so I'm not sure if there is one with current equipment. I only read one other policy that listed their equipment that they had, so I'm not sure that that's necessary. On C, and maybe you probably already changed this, took out located at TNT.
yep, it's changed.
Okay, changed all that. And then on D, the staffing. Under D, I removed, from paragraph, it is important to wing back to the last sentence in that section. I'm not sure what that adds to the policy. And then I changed under Article 4, public awareness. I looked at some different sections and changed, like for mailboxes, heavy snow coming off plows can take down mailboxes, so make sure mailboxes are secure before winter. The town will only fix or replace them if the highway department determines that a plow physically hit the mailbox. And that was a sentence that was in 4 other policies that I read. So I thought that was good. So that would, I would remove D in that, so. And then I also removed F from
You
that
removed
section.
D, so what are you saying? You agreed with it, you don't agree with it, you said other ones had it?
I said that I would remove that and put this in, which it talks about snow, but the last sentence I would change, that determines a plow physically hit the mailbox. So. I don't know, I read through and made a lot of changes. That was our direction and that's what I did. So.
Very good.
Well, I just want to hear more, Lisa. Did you say delete F in that section?
I did. No, I didn't read I read abutting policies, and abutting policies do not, abutting town policies, they do not have anything like that in there.
What, F you mean?
Yeah,
So take it out completely?
yeah. I mean, I didn't look and see if I didn't go on VLCT to see what their new template looks like, which I am sure this is probably what that came from, because I find it so annoying to sign into VLCT now.
So were these the ones that you looked at, mostly towns, like local towns by us?
Yes.
Okay.
Towns that abut us,
Okay.
yes. So West Rutland, Rutland Town, Rutland, Pittsford, like that. So, and some of them are very brief and very concise, I found, so.
Because I'm wondering, I felt like Rutland City had it.
Well, Rutland City is a little different, so
Right.
I took theirs a little bit with the
Right, I just didn't know if it was under this policy.
grain
or-
of salt. But towns that were similar to us, which I think West Rutland, Pittsford,
Right.
yeah, I didn't see that, so, I mean, if I had a draft of the policy, I'd be happy to mock it up with my suggestions, but, yeah.
Maybe it's good to have, you know, your ideas in black and white on here to,
And I could do that. If you want to send it to me, I could put mine in red or something, and then you could have all of them to look at. The other one I noticed, just statute-wise, that a lot of them had was Title 19, Section 111, which prohibits encroachment upon the town right-of-way, and that seemed to be included in a number of them, and we don't have that one. We have, I think, Title 20, or we have Title 19, Section 1105. So, there's just a little difference in the verbiage of what it's talking about. 1105, it was kind of strange to me. It was talking about the trail and encroachment on the public highway or trail, which I thought was, I mean, it could be at the time when this was first written in 08 or whatever, there was some reason for that, but it just seemed, I don't know. I guess I just didn't see that to be very pertinent for us.
I only see Title 23.
Well, at the top of the page, Section 2, Title 19, Section 1105, V.S.A, obstructing
Page 3.
traffic. Right above Section 3. Where it talks about,
Oh, yeah, right there at the very
yeah.
top.
But it's talking about obstruction or encroachment in a public highway or trail. That was not a statute that I found that the majority of them were using. They seem to be using a different one, so I don't know. I tried to read other ones before to get an idea of what other communities were doing, but I'm happy to receive it digitally and mock one up for my, or with my changes.
Or you can send me what your changes are, whatever works.
Yeah, it might be, because I have a couple different, I have taken stuff out, so.
Okay, so I'll just send it to you,
Yeah.
that way I won't miss.
And then I could have one that I'm on, and then whatever yours is.
Okay.
And then did other people have other changes, suggestions?
Albert gave me a few earlier today, so I changed them.
Okay, so those are in here?
Yeah.
I wondered whether we would want to move that timetable of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. on section 4.
To what times?
11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
You thinking earlier, Bruce, or?
I'm just wondering whether to, make it midnight, or do you want to leave it at 11 so that the plows can get out sooner?
Like 10 p.m. you mean? Are you saying?
Yeah. We gotta, I don't know, what, anybody has any thoughts on changing that time frame?
I don't want to see it moved up too much because, there are functions like at the high school, at the elementary
Yeah.
school. People have, maybe a weekend birthday party or something. And some places they do park, in front of the house. Hopefully they went in the winter time, but
But I would think most of the school stuff wouldn't run into...
after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 is kind of late.
Huh?
11 is kind of late.
Yeah.
mean, I think there's just a handful of cars parked on the streets in the winter throughout town.
Yeah.
It's not like a number of them, so that I think they could find a place to park, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not, oh yeah, like the traffic, I'm thinking more like the city, like in, say, Boston, where you can't have vehicles on the road, and if they are, they get plowed in,
Right, right.
right? I mean, how many, has it made mention that this is a huge problem?
No, not really. There's a couple consistent people who,
I don't know.
they park on the sidewalk, they're not supposed to park on the sidewalk.
I just take it out altogether myself. I just get rid of it, because during that time frame, it may snow 3 times. But now you got people like Albert said, now
So you're saying ban parking completely?
no, I would just let them park wherever. Why ban it? Why, is there, that's what I just said, is there certain areas that are so busy that there's so many vehicles
But no,
on
if
the
they're
sidewalk?
plowing, though, and a bunch of cars parked on the street, it's pretty hard for them to plow.
That's, was my question.
Right, so that's why they put a time frame.
Is there a location that,
No, I think that gets into, you know, if you went into different location, I think it ought to be a cut thing, you know, the
It's gotta
whole
be cut,
town
yeah,
and
the
make it
town's-
easy.
I don't know how busy, you know, Curtis Street is versus in front of the high school during, you know what I'm saying,
Right, but then that's why you have to have a ban sometime, because then
Yeah.
you can't allow somebody on Curtis Street to park and somebody on East Street not to park, you know, unless you designate streets, so I think
Yeah,
it's
you gotta make
important to
it
put
people,
a
for
time
people
frame.
to
in it.
understand and know that they can't park a car on the street, you know, even at 11 o'clock, that everywhere in town, no parking. At
That's when they-
11 o'clock.
That's when they try to clean up, is later at
Yeah.
night, so it's just easy. I mean, it's not like they're going, 2 miles an hour, they're plowing, and all of a sudden you have to go around cars that are parked there or something.
Oh, that's fine, I just didn't know if there was just a stretch of road that there's always vehicles on that, you know, you said, okay,
No, like I said, there's certain streets that, yeah,
that's, all right, if it's easier, just go town-wide than just town-wide, I guess.
right.
Yeah.
That's what this does.
Can DPW live with 11 to 7?
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
You mean do they need extended?
Yes, do they need
Yeah.
it extended, or they're content with being able to plow the streets? with
They
no-
haven't ever complained to me.
Maybe leave it at 11 o'clock then.
I mean, I think a lot of the storms we get, they tend to come back out and clean up later, knowing people are off the roads and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so.
More
I mean,
effective for
if you
them
moved
to
it 10 to 7,
Plow 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, if there's a big storm in the afternoon at noon, and they're parked, or you gotta plow around them, right?
right,
It's gonna be all over town, right, regardless.
right.
What's the difference whether it's daylight or dark? If there's gonna be a ban on parking,
I mean, that's the way it is in the city.
I guess I don't understand that, the certain hour. What difference does it make if it's 11 o'clock or 8 o'clock or,
Oh, well, then we can
3
say no
o'clock.
parking on streets during these months.
right? If you're just,
And one of them says,
there's no parking.
motorists should not park in the town right away during snowstorm operations.
Right.
That's how they address it. They don't
I
have,
thought you couldn't park.
well, because we have a ban, so that's part of our parking. It should be
But I
our
mean,
ordinance.
I remember somebody parked in front of our house that came to see us. It it wasn't even a winter day, and the cop stopped and said, "You're not supposed to park there. You're not supposed to park on the side of the road."
In the winter,
No, it wasn't winter. It was,
Oh.
They just parked on the side of the road to come in and see us for a minute.
there's just no parking. Maybe there just wasn't
Is
enough
there
room.
no, maybe, I don't know, is there no parking over
Is it
there?
the house you're at now?
Yeah.
Were they on the sidewalk?
I don't know if it was a,
You're not supposed to park on sidewalks, ever.
yeah, but
Okay,
Maybe that's why.
so,
I would put a no parking ban from one date to the next date, and that's it, there's no time. frame.
No parking on streets during
I don't get the time
November
frame.
1 to March 31st?
Yeah, that's not,
That's not feasible.
Huh? No, that's what he's saying.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's feasible, but that's just
They
me.
park on Holden, they park on Olympus, they park on Park.
I think most towns that I'm aware of have a parking ban of time frame, like nighttime.
Yeah.
Right, well, you know, like Albert just brought up a point, which I was talking about, you know, basketball games and stuff, there's cars parked all over the place.
Right,
That's a busy area.
right. They won't be playing though if it's snowing really hard.
No, they won't.
Whatever, I don't care.
So do you want to leave it 11 to 7? You want it 10 to 7?
I would leave it. Nobody has said anything, right?
Right.
I think it's personally more important to have the officers be diligent if people are habitually doing that, ticketing them, rather than asking them politely 4 different times to move, which seems to kind of be what happens. I
Right.
mean, I think if that's what it is, then that's what it is. It shouldn't be, if you recall, but that's just me. I mean, that would be, and for me, like, that would be a question for Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Okay.
So can we put this,
The next meeting?
Yeah, updated draft, put my updated draft?
Yep, August 24th.
Yeah. And then if people have, after looking over these changes, if you have other ideas, to bring those to the 24th as well, or,
Or just send them to me ahead of time,
Yeah.
because otherwise we'll just be going back and forth with this.
sure. Okay,
And if you wanted to even like, well, I can put it in their packets, but I was
Yeah.
gonna say, if you got me your version, I could just send it to everybody too, so they could say, well.
yeah, I'll do that. I'll get it to you before the
Okay.
24th. Yeah, if you send it to me this week, I'll get it done.
Yeah. send it.
All right, motion will be in order to move into the Board of Water Commissioners.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
So they finished the project over here at Proctor Place. They, like I said, they had hit the water main and it broke, so that caused some issues, water issues. So they.
Did it cause damage?
No, it did, it was like a geyser, I guess.
Yeah.
Water went into some of the apartments, and stones went up on the platform where they were surprised they didn't break windows because they're gravel.
So
Throwing
is that
stones
an insurance claim for us then?
It's not us, it's not on us at all.
Oh, okay.
It's on the contractor.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but they've got everything fixed now. I did ask for bids from him and Tom Grace for the sidewalk outside that was
Okay.
dug up.
Yep.
In the road crossing Church Street. So I did receive, Rick Reed's today, but I didn't want to share it until I got the
Yep.
other one.
Yep.
So I should have that one this week, just to kind of look at pricing. And what they would do is just do the concrete sidewalk up to match the other sidewalks, and then pave across the road, so.
Okay, yeah.
And our guys
Oh,
have.
where they cut that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And our guys have even suggested, I don't know if it's on us or them, I think they were ours, because I remember you guys had them too at the library. Remember those iron railings?
Yeah.
They're there and they're just kind of, so they think if they could just remove them, because it
We
suggests.
had to take ours down because it was a liability issue,
Okay,
because they weren't stable.
right.
so.
And these aren't, some of them aren't.
Well, and those would belong to us, right? That's in the town right
I
away.
think so. That's because I think they were throughout town, like even the
Yeah.
stairway and stuff. So I think, and they want to expand the sidewalk so it's like 5 feet. Yeah.
Well, we'd have to do that anyway, right? If we replace the sidewalk, does
You
it?
don't have to.
Oh,
If you're doing an existing sidewalk, you don't have to.
Oh.
I don't believe that's what.
yeah, I would think,
So I want to meet with them, Earl Simpson, though, just to kind of go over the logistics of what was done and where
Okay.
he ties in, so.
So should we get a price difference between the 5-foot sidewalk and just putting the normal size sidewalk back, what that is?
I don't know, I mean, like, I think are they all 5 feet throughout town now, the new ones? I think they were trying to match.
We're doing little sections, I mean.
Right, but I think the new ones are.
Okay,
I'll ask them both.
okay.
And then they're also putting the ADA compliant, you know, the
pan,
yeah, at the end,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
but they didn't have to bring the water line all the way up Church Street and tie in?
No, the water line from Church Street came down in front of Proctor Place. So right in front, like, you know where the mailbox was up by the post office?
Yeah.
It was kind of to the side of that, I believe, it came down there, so that's where they tied into. Yeah.
And then the sidewalk, Judy, that's a street sidewalk, and how about the sidewalk that came out of the post office? Is that part of the project?
It's part of the project. Yeah.
And that's the
The
town?
sidewalk in front of the building, you mean?
Yeah, the
Or-
one that- well, there's two, one parallel to the face and then one perpendicular
One
to the
connects to
front.
our sidewalk.
Connects to the municipal.
But both sidewalks alongside the street, you mean?
No, one sidewalk is like if you're in the parking lot and you want to go to the post office and you don't want to go up the steps, you go up the sidewalk and there's a sidewalk from there to the post office.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing that, that's part of the project. And he also actually rebuilt the steps for them too, so. But Rob was
That's
in there,
pretty-
Rob was in there one day, pretty much working with them all day. So,
That's very kind of them, because the sidewalks, or the steps, they have patched together.
yeah, so hopefully everything's good now, the water main's gone out of the building too, so.
Okay. All right.
But I'll have those
And there
the
was
next-
the bid didn't change based on the
I
project,
haven't gotten any final changes.
but you didn't get any, you didn't have any conversation with them about additional expenditures?
No.
Okay.
No. I'd like reduced expenditures, not additional.
Okay, well, I mean, okay,
Okay, but, so I should have those to you next meeting,
okay.
and if I get them ahead of time, I'll let you know.
Any other water commissioner business?
No.
All right. Motion would be in order to leave the Board of Water Commissioners and move into the Board of Sewer Commissioners.
Okay,
All those in favor? Take a breath. Okay.
all right, so, I just talked to the engineer today. It was the weirdest thing, he sent me an email last week, and I emailed them today, and he responded back, and the email never came to me. And then when I searched under his name, it was like right there, but it's not in my inbox, wasn't in my junk mail. Him and I are like, where the heck did it go? So he sent it to Celia so she could send it to me, and weird. But anyway, so basically we're gonna order the storage containers this week, because our guys had wondered how soon we should get those to start moving things out, put things in it, and they said they suggested do it right now, so, because they'd like things to start moving. So they should start set up and begin to drop lagoon levels in September. And then the liner materials due to arrive early October, and 10/1 is mobilization, which is different from the original date, which was 12/1. So that's much better.
So 10-1 is starting work.
Yeah, they'll be down there prepping, and then we're gonna be lowering the lagoons prior to that, which is good, because our guys kind of want that done before the cold weather, just because you don't.
Yeah. How many storage containers do we have to have?
I don't know, it depends, I think, on the size that they get.
Oh, okay,
So I'm gonna talk to the guys tomorrow about that.
okay. All right, so otherwise that project is moving along?
Yeah.
Okay. That is good. Any questions for Judy about the project?
And if you want a timeline that they sent us has changed, I can send that to you, email or something if you need it.
Okay. Anything else for sewer commissioners?
There is a sewer problem on South Street. The house that was purchased on South Street that was all done over, the two-family by the cemetery.
Yeah.
Their plumber found that the sewer pipe had roots all growing in it and wrapping around, so he replaced it. Our guys went in and it looks like the pipe could be kind of, like wenched or cracked in the road. So we're looking at now digging across to where the manhole is and replacing that pipe. Because that's got tree roots all in it too. And it's either now or wait till it becomes a bigger problem. So,
And who's doing that? Are we doing that?
no, Tom Grace is, because he did the house, from the house to the road. So we just asked him if he would tie into that, and he said, yeah, he could do that.
So we're gonna dig up the pipe across South Street,
Yeah,
which is the main, or?
it's a sewer main, yeah, it's a sewer pipe.
So is it our pipe or is it his pipe?
It's our pipe because it's under the road, which is why we need to change the ordinance for sewer
Okay.
lines. But we can't get that done quick enough, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In fact, we were talking today about it, and it maybe not being part of the sewer, the ordinance could just be the sewer policy and the water policy, which might be a quicker fix than an ordinance,
Well, our policy is quicker than the ordinance, yes.
which I would rather
Okay.
prefer, so, yeah. What we're trying to figure out is if he can dig to keep one lane open, because there's no way tractor trailer trucks can get through.
Yeah.
No, and what would you have to do? You'd have to go through St. Dominic's.
You couldn't turn,
Or
they
go,
couldn't
or
turn
you'd
the,
have to go over the hill.
yeah, they can't make that turn, they don't.
No, but I mean just traffic in general.
Oh, yeah, we could just go down Reynolds. Go down Reynolds and around and up Grove.
But, yeah, tractor trailer wouldn't happen.
They couldn't make the turn coming into
Okay.
Proctor down to,
So and he's starting that project when?
we haven't met yet. We're supposed to meet this week.
Okay. I mean, I just think if we're starting that, school starts the last week of August, if that's something that's going to be impeding traffic, we need to be pretty vocal about that for
Right.
people. So, okay. I mean, not that it has to be done, but I just think
Right.
it's not a good start to school for parents. If all of a sudden you're late because of that.
Those problems are more minor than us having to worry about paying for
Well,
this, so. That's the
We all
that's the
just
least of my
we just
worries.
all wanted to collaborate about water gardens, so I think that's all part of conversation and collaboration, so. Okay. Motion would be in order to move out of the Board of Sewer Commissioners and back into regular select board meeting.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, sheriff's report.
They've been around a lot lately, I've seen them a lot.
Yeah. Albert had a question last time on the sheriff's report. Did we get an answer on that? I can't remember exactly what the question was.
I don't remember any
The
questions.
2 hours
The
for
two-
West Rutland, Boardman Hill, and a few
Oh.
other streets they listed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get an answer on that.
Okay, maybe they could, we could have them swing by sometime, particularly with school starting. It'd be nice if they're around the first few days of school too. Not, just being present, I think is nice.
Yeah.
So people remember, like there's gonna be more traffic in the crosswalks and those kinds of things. So, it might,
When's school start?
school starts Wednesday, the
24th?
No,
No.
Is it-
Somebody said the 24th,
is it the 24th? What is,
Monday.
no, it starts on Wednesday.
27th, right? Okay. 27th.
26th, Wednesday the 26th. Okay. All right, manager's report.
Let's see, so, Kyle and I met with a graduate student from UVM who's working with V-Trans on costs associated with storm damage. So it's kind of funny because a lot of the stuff that they were talking about is a lot of stuff that they all deal with too, erosion and everything like that. So, went through the highway budget with him. He picked out 4 years and what was allocated, so we had to figure out what we allocated for repairs, routine maintenance, and then municipal road general permit. And based on the data, we were told that we are very much in compliance with our roads, culverts, catch basins, and water runoffs. So that was very good news.
Yeah.
So he said he didn't see really many issues with our system, so. Revenue on timber cutting for fiscal '26 cannot be calculated till the auditors meet with us. They have to calculate depreciation, etc., to get a year-end calculation. So I'm still working on that, trying to figure out. I'll reach out again to the accountant to see if there's an easy way to do that. So it's out of my hands. I have nothing to do with the accounting piece of it. So
Right, okay.
let's see. They have not returned to Florence Landing yet to continue the harvesting up there. They're still a little concerned with some of the dampness, so they want to wait till it gets dried out a little more. We were receiving a second payment, which we did receive since I wrote this. The contractor wants to make certain that the ground's dried enough for them to get through easily, so he sent the letter along. He took his retainer out, so we did get a second check sent to us already for the timber harvest that they've done.
Okay.
And our forester is going to Chittenden this month to get a lay of the land with hopes of sale next spring, early summer.
Okay, so we did just get a second check then
Yes.
for Florence Road.
Yep, I believe it was $31,379.17.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to move Florence, to move the timber harvest funds for FY27 into a separate account.
Second?
Discussion.
Got to be earmarked right now to get started, so that there isn't a...
Okay, so there was a check before this, but it might have come on last year's.
No, I believe it came in July.
In July?
I believe
Okay.
so.
All right, so if for the next meeting, we could just know what that one was also, so.
Yeah, they should be about the same.
Okay.
Identical.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
So did you want, do you want it as a reserve fund, so it accumulates? It's not just a fund sitting there, so if we have...
Can we create a reserve fund here, or do we have to ask to create a reserve fund at town meeting?
Oh, yeah, we might have to do that.
But we can request
A special.
at this level
A line item that's just for...
that those funds be accounted separately.
Yep.
For town meeting, we can ask to
Right.
create, to move those funds
Yeah.
into a reserve
Yeah,
fund.
because I'd like to see it, if we're going to keep harvesting, I mean, Chittenden doesn't matter, but
No.
if we do this, to keep seeing it accumulate year after year, so...
Yeah, so I just like, it, for accounting purposes, it helps us. By the time we get to March, then we should have a number that we can ask to move into the
All
reserve
right,
fund.
I'm just going to ask our accountant too, just to see what he's...
Yeah, it was, I was always of the impression you had to ask to
Right.
create a reserve fund.
Yeah, I just want to ask him as far as like other options, just so we have, you know...
Sure.
Okay, so the, we were supposed to have a meeting October 7th, the Rutland Region Emergency Management with like town managers and stuff to go over, it's basically a workshop from 9 to 1 at the hospital for a cooperative vision to deal with disasters, so local communities dealing together and what the process could look like. The town fair is the same day. So,
That wasn't very good planning, was it?
well, I think the town fair didn't drop their date till recently, so I think these guys had their date before, I think, the league did. I think, because I just found out last week when it was, the town fair.
Oh, no, they've been sending, VLCT's been sending stuff out for a while.
Right, but there was like October 6th, it's the 7th, so I
Oh.
don't know if, that's the day I had way back when from them.
Well, it's
so.
2 days. Because one day is voting day and the next day is town fair day.
It's kind of, I think,
It's the 7th and 8th, isn't it?
I don't know, well, they're kind of doing it different, because I'm on the passive board, and we might have our separate
Yeah, because you vote the day before and then the second day is for everybody.
Right.
Town fair is... I think maybe it's the 6th and 7th. It's the 7th. It's the 6th and 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they said they're running into this problem with every town, that the managers are going to the town fair. I
Yeah.
said, I didn't know if I was going, I said I probably will, because just being on the passive board, but, so they want to know if there's other people who are interested, and the other people on the committee are you two, Kyle, Rob, and Kevin Blangy. So I said I would ask if any of you wanted to, and that if I have someone else to go in my place or just represent Proctor, then they might continue with the same date.
Yeah.
But if not, they'll just reschedule the thing.
So I would suggest asking Kyle or Kevin.
Yeah, Celia was
because
another one, but I don't think she.
I just feel like they're gonna have more foundational information with respect to like,
Yeah.
what kind of equipment do we have, you know?
Right.
Those kind of, Kevin from the fire department, even
Yeah.
Kyle from the fire department.
Right.
That's not information I'm gonna be
Right.
able, I'm just gonna sit there and take notes.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna bring anything to the table.
Well, I think most towns want it changed because they want, town managers want to go to it. But-
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they're gonna do, but I said I'll ask everybody to see, so.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my suggestion if you're not
Yeah.
gonna go to ask one
Right.
of them to go, because I think they're just gonna go with a better breadth of
Right,
information.
and I said those two are more likely, those two wouldn't go to town fair, so.
No, okay.
Okay. Beaver Pond paving, I let them know that we'll, got the bid and that we're holding off on South Street. Now we have another issue, that I gotta get in touch with them for. 6 Beaver Pond, where the fire was.
Yeah,
They're doing the, basement, construction and stuff mid-September, and the house is due to be dropped October 19th. I don't wanna pave Beaver Pond if all those trucks are going back and forth there and doing that, so we're gonna.
but that's at the top here, right?
It's at the bottom by West Street, where West Street
Yeah,
branches, yeah.
But can't we still pave like all the way around Beaver Pond? Could we
Right,
do
but
that strip first?
I don't know if,
They'll do that to start?
well, yeah, and I don't want them to like do it and have to come back a month later to finish paving, you know what I mean?
Well, I just feel like that's the worst, a terrible part of it, and they're not gonna go down any of that, so.
They're going down, all the way down to like, by Josh's house there, where it forks. They're going from there up.
Yeah,
and
aren't
over.
they going all the way down to?
The market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Market.
Yeah, but aren't they doing actually around the pond too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, why couldn't we start with, and have them do
Well,
that stretch?
we're gonna
Because that
talk
seems to be like the most intensive piece when we looked at the bids about
Right.
reclaim and all.
Might be-
but the problem with these guys is that if they bring equipment and
They
then
wanna
stop
just be
job
here,
and
yeah.
come back to,
It's
is it
gonna be
costing
extra
more
cost.
to come, yeah.
So the reality is, we're probably not gonna get paved.
We will, I don't know, I'm gonna talk to Tim to see how it looks as far as, you know, because the biggest concern is, isn't the construction so much doing the basement, it's when they bring the house in, it's brought in and they have to bring cranes in to lift it and stuff.
Yeah,
So you're gonna have heavy cranes, heavy construction trucks on the road.
Like a modular home or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
so that's gonna be when, the first part of September?
Middle of September is when they're doing the basement. October 19th is a drop date for the house. And they were gonna do paving in September.
And water and sewer, that's all set in the road? Or does that have to get dug up and attached, connected and?
Oh, yeah.
She was connected before, so
Yeah,
it'll just be connected back to
Oh,
curb
it's
stop.
Not clay pipe that they, the drain line that they, sewer line that they have to dig up then and replace under the road.
Well, there's issues there with somebody else with their pipe that if we dug it up, we think of looking at and repairing it if we had to. But that's not her house, her house is fine.
But haven't you gotten into this situation before that as you've gotten down, it's gotten colder and...
Right. I mean, you could have some beautiful days in October.
Well, I guess my question to them, yeah, sure, we could. Who knows? We have funky weather here lately. I guess my question would be, if we can't do that, then they're not gonna hold the bid for us. We barely made the bid.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So if that were the case, I would suggest paving at least the pond and up around to like,
Come back down to Pearl Street.
yeah, like from Pearl to Beaver, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk to him to see what he
Okay.
suggests, because he knows.
Well, but I mean, if it's dependent upon when they're gonna drop the house, we're at
Right.
somebody else's mercy.
Right, right. I mean, we could pave it and just say, well, we're paving it, but I just don't think it's
No,
smart
but I'm
to
just
put all
saying,
those vehicles on there.
those vehicles aren't gonna go from Pearl down. So we
No.
could technically
Right.
pave from Pearl
Yeah.
all the way around and at least have that all done. And then if we had to do the section from Pearl to West Street, we could do
Or
that.
we could do South Street and do Beaver Pond next year.
Well, it wouldn't,
Well, we don't have enough money still, even with that, to do South Street.
Just South Street.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a conversation. What's the thought on that?
I just wonder, you know, the gross vehicle weight of the crane, is it gonna exceed the load limit of the road, the street, or?
It's just a lot of traffic back and forth on a freshly paved road that I don't want.
Well, we on Beaver Pond Road had that paved, then we had the log trucks driving, you know, on the new paved road, recently paved road. I
Yeah,
mean,
but they're not gonna be able to get by it. I mean, if they did it, say, first week of September, we can't have them there when they're doing that construction.
No, right, you're talking Beaver Pond.
Right,
When
right.
the building crew was there, we couldn't have them doing the road work.
Right. We'll talk to him.
Yeah, and
we'll-
have an update at the
Yeah.
next meeting.
Maybe they could push the project back a month.
Her house, you mean?
Yeah.
Too late.
No, I just think that if we had if it's definitive when the house is gonna drop, then you can start on the other side and work your way up. So they're working once that's in, and then that's the last stretch you're doing.
Right.
And worst comes to worst, you just do it to
Leave
Pearl
middle.
Street.
Leave it middle, and just, like you say, pave that.
But do you start it so it's done when the construction on the basement's done, or do you wait until the basement's done and then start the paving? When the
And that's
house is
all,
put in?
and that's gonna be weather dependent probably too.
That's like a month later, you know?
The house is gonna be in October or September?
October 19th.
October.
So that's a month after they go do the basement.
But you said that that's your concern with the weight is,
In both of them, just the construction vehicles back and forth.
I don't know, I guess I would see what they say. I think at this point, we should either, I would say, if that's not gonna be feasible, then you move the money and you do South Street. Or you do, I just think people are gonna be irritated about Beaver Pond, because we said we were doing, you do Beaver Pond from the pond all the way up to Pearl Street. And then in the spring, we come back and do Pearl to West Street. But,
All right, well, I'll talk to him and let you guys know.
okay. All right. Any other old and or new business?
It's this contract for employment.
Yeah, well, that's executive session.
Yeah.
Albert, did you have a chance to speak to the mosquito board?
Jeff, well, I spoke to the mosquito board. I did not hear from Jeff, you know,
Okay.
on 33 Eden.
Okay,
I did go up to the OCW shed, and the operations coordinator was there, and I asked, you know, about, you know, any issues he may have had at that residence, and he said the driver the following week was there and spoke with one of the homeowners. So the issue was in that he does turn around there, in that they don't, on a dead-end street, they don't spray going up, turn around, and drive through what they just sprayed. You know, they go to the end of the street and then spray coming back.
Yeah.
So he turns around up there, and it's the state policy, if you can see open flames, you know, at a residence, you shut your sprayer off. You do not spray where there's open flame. You know, what the reason was for that, I didn't ask, you know, but that's why when he turned around, he saw they were having a fire going, you know, open burning outside, so he could not spray, you know, in front of that residence. He had to wait till we got beyond.
But that driver spoke with the homeowner.
Yes, yes. And I hadn't heard anything after, and it was last week, the driver spoke with him, early last week, I believe. You
Yeah.
know, he hasn't called me, so I believe he was satisfied with what he heard.
Yeah,
from-
and the homeowner hasn't called me
Yeah, from the
either.
driver, you know, so.
All right, thank
But in
you.
the past, you know, they have sprayed there, but the only reason he didn't, that one day he probably saw him was probably outside, you know, around the campfire.
Okay.
Noticed that he
Okay,
wasn't spraying.
as long as they spoke with the homeowner,
Yes, they did.
I think the due diligence
And
was
the other
done.
one was White's Crossing.
Yep.
In that White's Crossing, the frontage on Florence Road is 135 feet. The depth is around 280 feet. And the property owners on the north side, the property owners on the east side, and the property owners on the south side are all the same family, and they don't want any part of spraying on their property. You know, so they only had 130, if they wanted to spray, it would have to be from the Florence Road, and it's only
Right,
135 feet.
which is what we've been telling them to
And,
do.
well, the only thing is, you have to have a cushion where the start and stop sign is. You can't start spraying right at the no spray. You cannot spray in a no spray zone. So they usually have some cushion there. They may go 50 feet beyond the stake and turn their sprayer on, and before they come to the sprayer, when they see it, they'll turn their sprayer off. So there may be a...
So it's funny because the house to the, I would say west, maybe it's a different direction, further down the road, gets sprayed, and that abuts their property, and they get sprayed.
Yes,
So-
where the Shaners live?
Yeah, well,
Or-
before that, the house that was being built, the other property owner, right there at the end of their barn, they get sprayed. And also, the state and somebody from Otter Creek went to this house and met with them, and the state said, yeah, you can be sprayed. So they said it's the driver who's choosing not to.
Yeah, well-
That's what they said to me.
Yeah, well, the state was there, and they do leave some discretion because it's, the responsibility falls on the driver's permit. You know, if there's an issue, then it would be, he would be the one that...
Right.
OCW would be fine, and he could lose his license. You know, so,
Right.
like I say, it's just... the
So
one-
someone spoke to, so did OCW and the driver speak to that property owner also, or?
No, that was 2 employees of the OCW, including
state.
the operations coordinator, and 1 representative from the state.
Spoke to the homeowner?
Yes, at
Okay.
whatever that address is
Yeah.
on...
So
what-
2 OCW, the
And the
state,
Yeah, visited the site, and they were the ones that came up with the dimensions, 135 and 280.
but they also spoke to the homeowner?
I would, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I wasn't there, Lisa, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, no, I know. And the other thing is, this is so far outside of our
Yeah.
reach.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but they did speak, you know, and like I say, the state was involved also with that.
Okay.
West Crossing.
okay. All right. Anything else for other? No? All right, motion would be in order at 7:14 to move into executive session for a personnel contract in accordance with 1 V.S.A. 313 1B.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.